south of England is a place steeped in history, and on today's ride I'll be visiting some amazing places dating back to the Vikings. On the way I'll visit a spooky abandoned tower, an enchanted forest, and the place where legendary King Canute attempted to turn back the sea. This is one of my usual rides and starts and ends almost on my front door in the Hampshire village of Horndean. From here I'll head through to the village of Rowlands Castle, cross the border into West Sussex and take the back road to Chichester, passing through Racton and Funtington. From Chichester I'll head along the old A27, passing through Fishbourne and Bosham. And then just after crossing back into Hampshire at Emsworth, I'll take on the climb of the day back up to Rowlands Castle, and then it's just a short run to Horndean and a nice cup of tea at home. After a fairly short flat ride, I arrive in Rowlands Castle, which takes its name from an actual castle which stood in the village between 1066 and the 15th century. Not long after, the castle was abandoned and left in ruins, suffering further damage in the 19th century due to the construction of the railway and quarrying. Today, all that's left are grass-covered earthworks and a pub, oddly enough called the Castle. Heading under the railway bridge and out of the village, I turn right onto Woodbury Lane and start climbing up to the junction and continue on, passing Racton Monument on my left. Built between 1766 and 1775, it's believed that the tower was once a summer house associated with the nearby Stansted estate, but it's long since been abandoned and is now a rather spooky looking ruin. Not surprisingly, because of its isolated nature and its sinister appearance, it has gained a very dark reputation, including rumours of it being frequented by occultists. I'm now on the fastest section of today's ride, as the road is fairly straight, flat, and usually has quite a strong tailwind. I'll enjoy it while I can because it will make the return leg a bit of a slog. Passing through Funtington, it's not long before I arrive in the village of West Ashling. From here I make a left turn and climb up to Kingly Vale, a national nature reserve and area of special interest. The reserve contains a prehistoric flint mine, Iron Age burial mounds known as the Devil's Humps, and the remains of a Roman temple. It's also home to one of the country's largest collection of ancient yew trees, some of them believed to be around 2,000 years old, making them some of the oldest living organisms in the UK. Legend has it that some of the trees even come alive at night. So 20 kilometres into the ride and I'm still taking things fairly easy. I'm just about to turn onto the Lavant Road and then onto Chichester and then heading for home. On my left I have a great view of the South Downs and the famous Goodwood races. Chichester's skyline is dominated by the spire of the 12th century cathedral, while the pedestrianised Georgian streets of the city centre all converge at the medieval Buttercross. Heading west out of the town on the old A27, I soon reach Fishbourne, a mainly residential area. In 1960, an engineer working for the local water company was laying a water main across a field when he discovered evidence of a 1st century Roman villa. Later excavations uncovered incredible mosaics that had been covered by soil for nearly 2 millennia. Today the site is open to the public, including a very nice tea shop which is very popular with local cyclists.
I can feel this wind has really picked up. It's turned into a really nasty headwind, so the rest of this ride home is not going to be pleasant.
Turning off the main road, I wind my way to Bosham, a picturesque town close to Chichester harbour. According to many sources, this is the place where, sometime in the 1st century, the Norse King Canute attempted to turn back the waves. Contrary to popular belief, this was not to show that he had power over the sea, but to demonstrate that secular power had no authority over the forces of God or nature. My battle with the headwind continues on the exposed coast road as I ride through Chidham and Nutbourne until eventually I reach the town of Emsworth, which was once home to actor Nicholas Lyndhurst, who of course is very well known to UK audiences as Rodney Trotter in Only Fools and Horses. For anyone who's never heard of this classic British sitcom, it's worth looking up on YouTube. It's very funny, especially the famous scene with the chandelier. Going straight over the roundabout, I start climbing back up towards Rowlands Castle. The climb itself is fairly easy, about 1.5 kilometres with 3 and 4% gradients. Although when I'm not that fit and I've used up all my energy in the wind, like now for instance, I find it a little bit on the difficult side. Once at the top, the road undulates up and down, and it's not long before I'm back in Horndean at Merchiston Hall.
Oh my word, that was tough in that wind. At least I'm home now.
All in all, not a bad ride for a windy, overcast Saturday. When the sun shines though, this ride is even better.